Access management in cybersecurity refers to the processes and technologies that ensure only authorized users can access specific resources within an organization. It involves user authentication, authorization, and accountability, safeguarding sensitive data from unauthorized access. Key components include identity management, role-based access control (RBAC), and multi-factor authentication (MFA). Effective access management minimizes security risks, enhances compliance with regulations, and protects against data breaches, ensuring that users have the right access at the right time. This slide deck outlines a plan for access management. Access management fundamentals involve the processes and technologies used to control, can access information and resources in an organization. Key components include 1. Authentication, verifying user identity through passwords, biometrics, or tokens. 2. Authorization, granting permissions based on user roles and policies. 3. User provisioning, managing user accounts and access rights throughout their lifecycle. 4. Access control models, implementing models like role-based access control (RBAC) or attribute-based access control (ABAC). 5. Auditing, monitoring, and reviewing access logs for compliance and security. These fundamentals ensure that sensitive data is protected while allowing legitimate access to users. Access management is crucial for several reasons. 1. Security. It protects sensitive data and resources by ensuring that only authorized users can access them, reducing the risk of data breaches. 2. Compliance. Many industries have regulations that require strict access controls to protect personal and sensitive information. 3. Operational efficiency. Streamline access processes, improve productivity by allowing users to quickly access the resources they need. 4. Risk management. By monitoring and controlling access, organizations can identify and mitigate potential security threats. 5. User accountability. Access management tracks user actions, promoting responsibility and transparency within the organization. Overall, it is essential for safeguarding information and maintaining organizational integrity. The audit activity for access management involves systematically reviewing and evaluating the processes, controls related to user access to systems and data. Key components include 1. Access control review, assessing user roles and permissions to ensure they align with job responsibilities. 2. User provisioning and provisioning, verifying that new users are granted appropriate access and that access is revoked promptly for departing users. 3. Authentication methods, evaluating the effectiveness of authentication mechanisms. E.g. passwords, multi-factor authentication. 4. Compliance checks, ensuring adherence to policies, regulations, and standards related to access management. 5. Audit trails, reviewing logs and records of access attempts to detect unauthorized access or anomalies. This activity helps mitigate risks, enhance security, and ensure compliance with organizational policies. PAM, or Privileged Access Management, is a cybersecurity strategy focused on controlling and monitoring access to critical systems and sensitive information. It involves managing and securing accounts with elevated privileges, such as system administrators or database managers, to prevent unauthorized access and potential breaches. PAM solutions typically include features like password vaulting, session recording, access controls, and real-time monitoring to ensure that only authorized users can access privileged accounts, thereby enhancing overall security posture. Privileged Access Management (PAM) best practices include 1. Least privilege, grant users the minimum access necessary for their roles. 2. Strong authentication, implement multi-factor authentication (MFA) for accessing privileged accounts. 3. Session monitoring, continuously monitor and record privileged sessions for auditing and compliance. 4. Regular audits, conduct regular reviews of privileged accounts and access rights. 5. Password management, use a secure vault for storing and managing privileged passwords. 6. User training, educate users on security policies and the importance of PAM. 7. Incident response, have a plan for responding to breaches involving privileged accounts. Implementing these practices enhances security and reduces risks associated with privileged access. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. It is a framework of policies and technologies that ensures the right individuals have appropriate access to technology resources. IAM systems help organizations manage user identities, control access to sensitive information, and enforce security policies. Key components include user authentication, authorization, role management, and audit trails. Effective IAM enhances security, reduces risks, and ensures compliance with regulations by managing user identities and their access rights efficiently. Identity and Access Management (IAM) encompasses several key functions. 1. User identity management, creation, maintenance, and deletion of user identities and profiles. 2. Authentication, verifying user identities through passwords, biometrics, or multi-factor authentication. 3. Authorization, defining and enforcing access policies to determine what resources users can access. 4. Role management, assigning roles to users to simplify access control based on job functions. 5. Audit and compliance, monitoring and logging access activities to ensure compliance with regulations. 6. Provisioning and provisioning, automating the process of granting and revoking access to resources. 7. Single sign-on SSO, allowing users to log in once to access multiple applications seamlessly. These functions help secure sensitive data and ensure that users have appropriate access levels. Identity and access management (IAM) best practices include 1. Least privilege access, grant users the minimum permissions necessary for their roles. 2. Regular audits, conduct periodic reviews of user access and permissions to ensure compliance. 3. Multi-factor authentication (MFA), implement MFA for an added layer of security. 4. Role-based access control (RBAC), use roles to manage permissions efficiently. 5. Strong password policies, enforce complex passwords and regular changes. 6. User lifecycle management, automate provisioning and deprovisioning of user accounts. 7. Monitor and log access, keep detailed logs of access and changes to detect anomalies. 8. Educate users, provide training on security best practices and phishing awareness. Implementing these practices helps secure sensitive data and reduce the risk of unauthorized access. Zero Trust security is a cybersecurity model that operates on the principle of never trust, always verify. Unlike traditional security models that assume everything inside an organization's network is safe, Zero Trust requires strict verification for every user, device, and application attempting to access resources, regardless of their location. It emphasizes continuous authentication, least privilege access, and micro-segmentation to minimize risk. By treating all network traffic as potentially entrusted, Zero Trust enhances security against data breaches and insider threats. Zero Trust security and traditional security differ primarily in their approach to trust and access control. In traditional security, the perimeter is the main focus, assuming that users inside the network can be trusted. Security measures are concentrated on protecting the network's boundary. In contrast, Zero Trust security operates on the principle of never trust, always verify. It requires continuous authentication and validation of users and devices, regardless of their location. Access is granted based on strict identity verification, minimizing risks from insider threats and compromised credentials. This approach enhances security in increasingly decentralized and cloud-based environments. Zero Trust is a security model that assumes threats could be internal or external, and thus requires strict verification for every user and device. Here are some best practices. 1. Verify identity, implement strong authentication methods, such as multi-factor authentication (MFA). 2. Least privilege access, limit user access to only what is necessary for their role. 3. Micro-segmentation, divide networks into smaller segments to contain potential breaches. 4. Continuous monitoring, regularly monitor and log user activity. 5. Encrypt data, protect data both at rest and in transit. 6. Regular updates, keep systems and software up to date to mitigate vulnerabilities. 7. Incident response plan, have a clear plan for responding to security incidents. Implementing these practices can significantly enhance your organization's security posture. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication, a security measure that requires users to provide 2 or more verification factors to gain access to a resource, such as an application or online account. This typically combines something you know like a password, something you have like a smartphone or security token, and something you are like a fingerprint or facial recognition. MFA enhances security by making it harder for unauthorized users to access sensitive information, even if they know the password. Multi-factor authentication (MFA) enhances security by requiring multiple forms of verification. Here are the main types. 1. Something you know passwords or PINs. 2. Something you have physical tokens, smart cards, or mobile devices for authentication codes. 3. Something you are biometrics like fingerprints, facial recognition, or iris scans. 4. Somewhere you are geolocation data or IP address verification. 5. Something you do behavioral biometrics, such as typing patterns or mouse movements. Combining these factors increases security against unauthorized access. Implementing multi-factor authentication (MFA) involves several key steps. 1. Assessment, evaluate the current security landscape and identify systems that require MFA. 2. Choose MFA method, select suitable authentication factors e.g. SMS, email, authenticator apps, biometrics. 3. Policy development, create policies outlining MFA requirements for users and applications. 4. Integration, implement MFA in existing systems, ensuring compatibility with current infrastructure. 5. User education, provide training to users on the importance of MFA and how to use it. 6. Testing, conduct thorough testing to ensure functionality and usability. 7. Monitoring and support. Continuously monitor the system and offer support for users encountering issues. 8. Review and update. Regularly review and update the MFA strategy to adapt to new threats and technologies. Implementing multi-factor authentication. MFA can present several challenges. 1. User resistance. Many users may resist adopting MFA due to perceived inconvenience. Solution: provide comprehensive training and emphasize the security benefits. 2. Integration issues. Existing systems may not support MFA. Solution: choose an MFA solution that integrates well with current infrastructure or plan for necessary upgrades. 3. Cost. Implementing MFA can incur costs for software and training. Solution: evaluate cost-effective MFA options and consider the long-term savings from reduced security incidents. 4. Accessibility. Users with disabilities may find MFA difficult. Solution: offer alternative authentication methods that accommodate all users. 5. Support and maintenance. Ongoing support can be resource-intensive. Solution: develop a dedicated support team and clear documentation for users.